Hey guys, it's Bren, and for a while I've been talking about doing a review on these new medium-sized candles and just kind of how they perform compared to the mason jars and the small candles and even the 3 wicks, and I haven't got around to it, so I'm finally going to do it. I like these. I'll start by saying that. I really do. My first one was this Cranberry Pear Bellini, and I bought it not because I really liked the scent of that candle, but because I was just really intrigued by this new style and shape. So if you've been following Bath & Body Works for a while, you know that it used to be there were 3-wick candles and there were small candles that were 4 ounces, and then there were the mini candles. And these didn't really perform very well. I know a lot of people complained about the 4-ouncers. They wouldn't pool out because there's only 1 wick, and so it took a while, or they would tunnel. And I was one. I thought the same thing. They didn't really throw. And when they started doing the mason jars, like last year, like sometime in 2013, I was more impressed with these. I liked the fact that they were a little bit narrower, and so they didn't tunnel because it was easier for them to pull out. They were also, though, more expensive in general. Like, these used to list price $10, but they would always go on sale for like $5 sometimes. These list price $12.50, the mason jars, and they occasionally have like $6 mason jar candle sales. They're usually 2 for $20, but really that is a terrible deal because normally they're only $12.50, and also like it's 2 for $22 3 wicks sometimes. So the 2 for $20 on the mason jars I don't really get. Sometimes they do 2 for $15. That's okay. But the mason jars, compared to the 4-ounce small, these were 6 ounces. So a little bit bigger, and they started doing these. The only problem with these, I guess, would be, like, my mom doesn't like them because she feels like they look too old-fashioned and too country, and they're not really sleek and modern looking, you know? And sometimes, or, you know, depending on your style or your taste or your decor, that might work for you or might not. And last winter, they had the mason jars out in most of the collections, but they also brought back the small candles for the, like, Toast of the Night collection. So the one with black tie and champagne toast and very, you know, ones like that. Those came out in 3 wicks, smalls, and minis, like the old ones used to before the mason jars. So I was curious what they were going to do, if they were going to bring back small candles this holiday season or not, or if everything was going to be mason jars. And then, lo and behold, I see these. So these were just in this collection, and they only come, that I've seen, in black tie, Cranberry Pear Bellini, Peach Bellini, 'Tis the Season. Those were the first ones I saw. And then since then, I've also seen in Martinis Mistletoe and Champagne Toast. And so it's just that collection. There's a few more in that collection that I haven't seen in this medium size. I call them like pillars, but on their website, they're just considered medium-sized candles. And if you click on medium-sized candles, you get these and the mason jars together. These are labeled mason jar. These are just like medium-sized candles. And these are actually slightly more than the mason jars. They're 6.3 ounces, so they're kind of the same. But I like the design because it is more sleek and modern than the mason jar. They're really heavy, and I like that they're like solid. The glass is like thick, it seems like. And I even like these labels. What I don't like is the fact that, like the swirled 3 wicks in this collection, it's not, like, this is not imprinted on the glass. It is like a, you know, covering, like a plastic, you know, label over it. There's the seam. But I don't mind it because you have to look close to see that. I still think they look good. That's just me. And so I'm happy with this, and I hope that they come out with more in this design rather than just doing all mason jars. I like these. I do. So I burned a couple here, and I've burned this one a lot more. The performance on this, as far as, like, when I say performance, I'm not talking about thrower strength right yet. I'm just talking about, like, did it burn well? I can't say that it has burned as well as a mason jar candle, but it's better than the 4-ouncers. 4-ouncer always, like, tunneled, and you just expected that. Mason jars, I haven't had a problem with tunneling. This one struggled at first. I have some pictures that I took along the way of it tunneling, and like had it burning for hours at this point, and it just wasn't gonna get that one side. Granted, the one that I have has kind of an off-center wick. It started out in the center because that's one thing I always check for when I buy candles. I need like my wicks to be centered, but it clearly wasn't centered the whole way down, and so that's why it wasn't reaching the far side. Eventually though, because these get slightly, just very slightly smaller as you go down, so it has corrected and now it has pulled out and isn't tunneling, and I didn't have to use cotton balls or anything like that on it. So if it's tunneling at first, just keep it going and it should self-correct. I wasn't super happy with that, but this one, Black Tie, didn't do that on the first couple. I've only burned this one a couple times again. I'm not a huge fan of this fragrance. I bought these, again, because of how they look, and they didn't have a lot of the scents. I actually have bought a champagne toast now as a gift for someone, but I obviously didn't burn that one myself, though, either. But all of these, this one, and the champagne toast, I didn't pay for any of those. I would not full price. I would not recommend paying $12.50 for these or a mason jar. For all three of them, I actually used coupons that were like spend $10 or spend some amount, get a free item up to $13 free. And that was how, or maybe it might have been up to $15 free. No, I think it was 13. Well, whatever it was, I know that I got all three pillars, these two and the gift one, free with like something purchases. And so that's a good way to get the medium size candles or mason jar candles. As far as how they are throwing and strength, I think amazing for what they are. Honestly, people always say don't bother with any of the smaller candles. The minis are good for trial. You're not sure if you like a scent or not. That's why I get those. People say don't bother with the small ones or the medium size or the mason jars even. Just 3 wicks all the way because the others don't smell as strong. And of course, they're not going to smell as strong because they're not as big as a 3-wick, but I'm really impressed for what these are with how they were throwing. First of all, Cranberry Pear Bellini is just not a very strong scent. That's why I've never been a huge fan of it. To me, when I burned it, it's like I smell, I said this in my last video too, but like I smell something burning, like a kerosene oily smell, but not really, I don't really get like what it's supposed to smell like. But this one, and this one maybe a little bit at first, I got some of that, but then surprisingly, I could really smell it. Black Tie is a strong scent, and this one, I mean, it might as well be a 3-wick. When I've had it going, like, it fills up this whole place. But even Cranberry Pear Bellini, for not being like an intense, strong scent, I was really impressed with the strength and throw of these medium-sized candles. So I recommend them highly because they look good, they're solid. I think they're great for gifts. One thing about the package design is that some people don't like them not having lids now, and these didn't have lids either. They came with like a little, paper disc. But I don't know, for some reason on these I'm okay with it. The fact that they don't have a lid, I like the way that they look. So I just wanted to say, if you like the way that they look, pick a couple up. Don't be afraid that they're going to be inferior to 3-wicks. I mean, of course, the same candle in this size is not going to throw like a 3-wick because it's not as big. But for what it is, I think they're doing great. I'm happy with them. I want to see more of this size, style, and design in other collections. I hope that BBW continues to do it. So anyway, that's that. And I'll see you guys again soon. Follow me on Instagram at WakeUpWriting.